Welcome to Become a Calm Mama. I'm your host, Darlene. I'm a life and parent coach, and this is the podcast where you learn practical parenting tools and strategies so that you can stop yelling at your kids, yay, feel more calm, and show up as the mom you want to be. So in today's episode, we are talking about the connect step of the Calm Mama process. The Calm Mama process is the parenting model I created so I could handle any tricky parenting moment that came with raising kids. And I've been using this model from toddlerhood to now, even with my teenagers. The Calm Mama process is 4 steps. So it's calm, connect, limit set, and correct. And last week, I talked to you a lot about calm and the tool of the pause break. So today we're talking about connect. Now, if you've ever wanted to help your kids manage their emotions by using their words, right? You always hear parents and teachers say, use your words. And if you've wanted your kids to use their words, then you're going to love this episode because I'm teaching you how to teach your kids to use their words. And we do this by giving them the words they need to express their big feelings. So let's get started. Okay, so connect is all about feelings, and the goal of connect is helping kids manage their feelings. So what I'm about to say next is this foundational concept of connection. It's the foundational concept of compassion, really. So here it is. Feelings drive behavior. Okay, so what does that mean? People have feelings, and their feelings show up in their actions. So everybody's behavior is a result of their thoughts and feelings. This includes your children and their misbehavior. So whatever your child is doing, however they're behaving that way because of how they're feeling about their circumstance, not because they are bad. Okay. They don't have some sort of character flaw that is creating misbehavior. Their behavior is a result of their feelings. So kids misbehave when they aren't feeling great, or when they want to avoid a negative feeling, or when they want to keep the good feeling they have. So their emotion or the emotion they're chasing is driving their behavior. Now, when kids don't know what to do with their feelings, they show up in ways that don't work, like hitting, shouting, complaining, whining, name calling, refusing directions, ignoring. So they have feelings, they don't know what to do, and so they show up in their behavior. So if you want to change misbehavior, you need to help your child understand what they are feeling and help them learn how to express those feelings in ways that work. And then you can come up with solutions. Now, what I am teaching you is somewhat revolutionary in that most of us grew up with a behavior first or behavior only model of parenting. So traditional parenting focuses on our actions and how those actions impact others. Traditional parenting doesn't spend a lot of time considering the person's feelings, our feelings, or why we're behaving that way, right? Or why children are behaving the way they're behaving. The focus is on the behavior and the external impact of that behavior. There's very little focus on the internal world of the person, the child, or whoever it is, of why they're behaving that way. Now, when you play this behavior-only model out through adulthood, you get adults who know how to perform and show up in society in ways that work, right? So yay, right? You get people who know how to act, usually. But the downside of the behavior-only model is that kids don't know how to process their negative emotion or manage the feelings that are underneath it. So they get to adulthood with all these feelings that they have no idea what to do with. And you know how that looks in adulthood, right? When someone doesn't have strong emotional health. It looks like, overeating, over drinking, overworking, over exercising, under eating, over dieting, drug use, binge watching, video games all the time, whatever it is, because we have all these feelings and we're not sure how to manage them. So then we create all these coping strategies that don't really help us process our negative emotion. They actually help us avoid and stuff those big feelings, right? So this is why I teach a feelings first model. A feelings first model focuses on the feelings that might be driving your kids' behavior. Because when your kids know what they're feeling and they know how to talk about those feelings, they know how to process that feeling, then they're more likely to behave in healthy ways. So in the model that I teach, that I developed, it's connect before limit set. It's connect before correct. So it's not a feelings only model. It's feelings first, behavior second. So what this means is that we pause before addressing the behavior to see what might be going on inside your kid. Before you set a limit or follow up on a consequence, you recognize the emotion, you validate it. I like to say, that makes sense. It's one of my favorite sentences. When a kid has a big feeling, I like to say, that makes sense. So that's our validation. So we recognize the emotion, we validate it, and we offer a way for your child to express that feeling in a way that works. So this is feelings first. Now, your job here is to get curious. So curiosity is the beginning of showing up with compassion, because we want to figure out, we want to get curious, we want to think, what emotion might be driving this child's behavior? So you look at your child's behavior, crying, hitting, not doing their schoolwork, not putting down the video game, not going to bed, not getting out of the bath, right? All these behaviors. I want you to start to think, what feeling might be driving this behavior? Now, you're just making a guess, because really no one knows what's going on inside of someone else unless that person talks about it. But the more curious you are and the more you're out of judgment of the behavior, you're more likely to make a pretty good guess of the emotion. So once you have an idea of the emotion behind the behavior, you become your child's emotional coach. An emotional coach really is this role that we take in the Calm Mama process of helping our kids manage their big feelings and giving them strategies to process those emotions in ways that work. Now, like I said, a feelings first model isn't a feelings only model. So yes, behavior has impacts. Actions have impacts. So off-track behavior, of course, it creates a problem for other people, right? It can inconvenience us with our time. It can drain our energy. It can cause harm to someone's body or to someone's heart. So yes, the problems are created by our kids' behavior. And personal responsibility is taught when you give your kid the opportunity to recognize the impact of their actions, right? Like letting them see, okay, so you did this behavior. We know why, because of your feelings, but here's the impact of it. What are you going to do about it? Now, if the kid, your child, is able to take personal responsibility and solve that problem, that's how they're going to become better behaved and think through their actions and see the result. So I'm going to talk more about this in the episode on correct. Caveat to all of this: before you can become a calm and compassionate witness to your kids' big feelings and show them the way through those feelings, you learn to do it for yourself. So that's what calm is all about in the Calm Mama process. It's really about you and how do you process your negative emotion? What do you do with your negative thoughts? Because just like we say, kids' feelings drive their behavior, so do yours. So calm and my work with moms is really about helping you clear some of the negative thoughts and emotions that are, triggering you, that are driving your actions. Because this is the truth, right? Very few of us grew up in homes where feelings were allowed or talked about. So if you are like most parents in, millennial parents or Gen X, you grew up being told to stop crying, be grateful, suck it up, and get over it. So those are not messages that help someone process negative emotion, experience it, move through it, right? Stuffing feelings way down isn't a solution to feeling better. It's actually leads to stuck feelings. So when we have all these stuck feelings, they come out in unpredictable ways, like outbursts of yelling or avoiding conflict or saying yes when we want to say no, or doing all the things or blaming others for, your problems, right? The list goes on. So stuck feelings, they keep you from becoming a calm parent. When you have stuck feelings and you're spinning around with emotions that you have no idea what to do with, it's going to show up in your behavior. So if you haven't yet learned how to name your own fear, your own disappointment, your hurt, or your sadness, or you aren't sure what to do with those feelings, it will be hard for you to help your kid with their feelings. I often say to parents, like, we need to be comfortable with our children's discomfort. So when you work on your own emotional management and you work on becoming calm inside, then you're going to get better and better at helping your kids. So calm and connect go together. What happens when I work with moms is that they end up learning both skills at the same time. So they learn the self-compassion and self-empathy, naming emotion and processing through it. They learn how to give that to themselves, right? Give themselves compassion, give themselves empathy. And at the same time, they learn how to show compassion and empathy to their kids. So moms learn to manage their emotions while teaching their kids to manage theirs. And as you grow, your kids grow too. So I love that I have combined the mom mind with compassion or gentle parenting and connected parenting or conscious parenting, right? There's so many ways to describe this feelings first model. But I love that I have brought it together so that a mom who is struggling with her own negative emotion and also struggling with parenting can come to one place and get support and learn all the tools in one spot. Because when I was building my methodology, I didn't have one place to learn it all. I had to learn how to process my negative emotion and how to manage my mind, and then also learn compassion and empathy tools, and also learn limits and consequences without punishment, all in different programs. So this is one program. Now, parenting through connection is revolutionary. This is not doing parenting the way it's always been done, right? You're not doing it like your parents did it or your grandparents or your community or your church or whatever it is. You're going against the tide a little bit, right? Swimming upstream against traditional models. I don't want to use the word against because I don't mean you're against people, but you are doing something counter to what you've been taught. So, and doing things differently means being a trailblazer. And that can be hard, but you can do this. Now, what happens sometimes is you might get the side eye from your mother-in-law or your dad, and they might make a comment like, "We never let you kids talk like that to us." I want you to remember you're practicing the feelings first model. Remind yourself that you're part of a whole new generation of parents, that you're part of a revolution. So doing something new and revolutionary is a lot easier with a guide. If you want help feeling more confident in your parenting skills, you really should join Calm Mama School today. This is a complete parent coaching program. It's a step-by-step process where you master the feelings first approach for you and for your child. So I think as a parent that you are responsible for developing your child's social and emotional skills just as much as you're responsible for developing their cognitive skills. In fact, I think the greater responsibility of parents is to develop those social and emotional skills. Because the greater those skills, the more likely your child will have future success in whatever they do. And I am here to show you how using the Calm Mama process. So this episode was all about connect, like the theory behind it and what it is. Like, what is compassion and why do we do it? The how will be in further episodes when I teach you about the connection tool and, the actual script. But for now, all I want you to do is when you have a child who is behaving in a way that is driving you sort of bonkers, I want you just to ask yourself, what feeling might be driving this behavior? Just asking the question in your mind will shift you into a better space of compassion. Curiosity is the seed of compassion. So getting curious is your job this week. And I will see you next week where we get to talk about limits, which is usually everybody's favorite thing, getting your kids to listen. So this week is all about curiosity and trying to name those emotions. All right, have a great week, and I will see you next week. Hey, Mama, if you've been listening to this podcast and thinking, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so ready to get out of this chaos and create more peace in myself and in my family, then I want to invite you to join Calm Mama School. It's my lifetime membership program where you learn how to stop yelling and feeling overwhelmed by parenting, teach your kids how to manage all of their big feelings, and set limits that actually work. It's lifetime access for getting everything you need to have the family you want and become the mom that you're meant to be. No matter how old your kids are or how chaotic your family is right now, I can help you create peace and joy in your home. To join, go to calmmamacoaching.com and get instant access to my online course and start coming to weekly coaching calls this week. I can't wait to help you transform your family. See you there. Hey, Mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do two things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that, again, at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.